All right, let me ask you something straight. Do you know that right now, inside your body, there is a process happening that, if left unchecked, could quietly take away 8 to 10 years of your life? And what is even scarier is that it is happening every single morning, in those very first hours after you wake up, while you have absolutely no idea it is going on. A 6-month study from Harvard University, tracking nearly 3,000 people between the ages of 42 and 94, found that people who had one specific morning habit had up to 34% lower rates of chronic inflammation compared to those who did not. Not medication, not surgery. Not some strict, complicated diet, just one simple morning habit that most of us are either doing wrong or skipping entirely. And in today's video, I am going to show you exactly what that habit is, why it matters on a life or death level, and how you can start tomorrow morning without spending a single dime. So stay with me, because what I am about to share could completely change the years you have ahead of you. Part 1. Why your morning decides how long you live. A lot of people believe that how long you live is mostly about genetics, that it is already written in your DNA, and there is not much you can do about it. But modern science has proven the opposite. The choices you make every day, especially in those first few hours after waking up, have a far greater impact on your long-term health than most people ever realize. Let me break this down in the simplest way I can. Think of your body like a car. Every night when you sleep, that engine shuts all the way down. It stops burning fuel, drops its temperature, and switches into maintenance mode. But in the morning when you wake up, that engine has to restart from scratch. And how you start it up in those first 30 to 60 minutes will determine how well it runs for the rest of that day. And over time, it will directly affect how many more years that engine keeps going. When you sleep for 7 or 8 hours, your body is doing an enormous amount of work all at once. It repairs damaged cells, clears out waste that is built up in your brain, rebalances your hormones, and prepares energy for the day ahead. That is a remarkable and critically important process. But in the morning when you wake up, your body is in a fairly fragile state. Blood sugar is low, the body is dehydrated after a long night. Your nervous system needs a signal that a new day has begun. And this is exactly when the small decisions you make can create a very big difference. So, what is this simple habit I keep talking about? Honestly, it is not just one habit. It is a series of small habits, each one taking only a few minutes. But when you put them all together, they create a powerful compounding effect on your body and on how long you live. Today, I am going to walk you through each one and explain why it matters in the most straightforward way possible. Part 2. Habit number 1. Drink water the moment you wake up. The first habit, and the most important one I want you to start tomorrow morning, is to drink water before you do anything else. Before you pick up your phone, before you brew your coffee, before you walk out of your bedroom. Just one glass of water, about 8 to 10 ounces, which is basically a standard drinking glass. Sounds almost too simple, right? But let me explain why this matters so much. When you sleep for 7 to 8 hours, your body does not get a single drop of water. Every breath you exhale throughout the night carries moisture out of your lungs. The sweat your body releases, whether a little or a lot, pulls even more fluid out of you. By the time you wake up, your body is already in a state of mild dehydration. And here is the thing that most people miss. They do not feel thirsty. When you are 60 years old or older, your sense of thirst has actually decreased quite a bit compared to when you were younger. That means your body can be running low on water and you will have no idea. And what does morning dehydration actually do to you? First, your blood becomes thicker. When your blood gets thicker, your heart has to work harder to push it through your entire body. Over time, that creates unnecessary stress on your heart and your blood vessels. Second, your kidneys, which are trying to filter your blood and clear out toxins after a long night, will work far less efficiently without enough water. Third, your brain, which needs a tremendous amount of water to function properly, will start the day in an energy-depleted state. You may notice this as that foggy, hard-to-focus feeling in the morning. That is a classic sign of dehydration. The solution is incredibly simple. The night before you go to bed, set a glass of water on your nightstand. The moment your eyes open in the morning, your hand can already reach it. Drink that whole glass before you get out of bed. You can also add a small squeeze of fresh lemon juice if you like. Lemon water in the morning helps kick your digestive system into gear and gives your body a little boost of vitamin C. But whether you add lemon or not, the most important thing is that you drink water the moment you wake up. This is the first and non-negotiable step in the morning routine I am sharing with you today. Part 3. Habit number 2, get outside for morning sunlight. The second habit is something your body is actually waiting for every single morning, but most of us never do it. That is stepping outside to get natural sunlight within about 10 to 20 minutes of waking up. Now, you might be thinking, Saul, I already know sunlight is good for me, but what does it have to do with how long I live? Let me explain. Deep inside your brain, there is something called a biological clock. People also call it your body clock. This clock coordinates everything that happens inside your body, from when you feel sleepy, when you feel awake, when to release certain hormones, when your digestion is working at its strongest, and when your immune system is most active. And that clock needs natural sunlight in the morning to reset itself correctly every single day. When you wake up but stay inside under artificial lighting, that clock gets confused. It does not know exactly what time it is. And when your body clock is thrown off, everything is affected. Your sleep quality goes down, stress hormones are released at the wrong times, your digestion becomes irregular, and over time, a chronically disrupted body clock has been directly linked to a higher risk of heart disease, diabetes, and even dementia. Now, you do not need to stand in harsh direct sunlight or do anything complicated. Just step out onto your porch, take a slow walk around the yard, or sit in a chair on your front stoop for about 10 to 15 minutes. Let natural light reach your eyes, not staring directly at the sun, just allowing the surrounding light to reach you. In that short window of time, your brain receives the single most important signal of the new day. Your body clock gets reset. Melatonin, the hormone that helps you sleep, starts being scheduled to release at the right time that evening. Cortisol, a hormone that helps you feel awake and alert, gets triggered properly in the morning instead of firing off randomly throughout the day. The result is that you feel sharper during the day and sleep more soundly at night. And as we all know, good sleep is one of the most powerful factors in how long you live. Part 4. Habit number 3. Light movement for 10 minutes. The third habit is the one most people dread the most, but I promise you, it is nowhere near as hard as you might think. That is light movement for about 10 minutes in the morning. And when I say light movement, I mean it literally. No running, no gym, nothing that makes you sweat through your shirt or leaves you exhausted. I am talking about things like getting up and walking slowly around your house for 10 minutes, or doing a few gentle stretches right next to your bed, or standing up and sitting back down from a chair 10 times. Small stuff like that. But why does it matter so much for people our age? Let me explain something important about what happens to our bodies as we get older. After 60, your muscles begin losing a certain amount of mass every year if they are not being used regularly. That is not something to panic about if you know how to address it. But when your muscles get weaker, you become more likely to fall. And we all know that at this age, a bad fall can lead to very serious consequences. Beyond that, your muscles are one of the most efficient places in your body for burning blood sugar. When they weaken and go unused, your blood sugar tends to build up higher than it should, and that is the road that leads to type 2 diabetes. Just 10 minutes of light movement in the morning can accomplish all of the following. It gets your circulation going, helping blood flow more effectively to your brain and your heart. It loosens up the joints and muscles that have stiffened overnight, reducing the morning aches and pains that so many of you deal with. It encourages your body to release endorphins, natural chemicals your brain produces to help you feel calmer and more positive. And perhaps most importantly, it sends a strong signal to your entire body that the new day has started and it is time to get moving. A study from the Mayo Clinic conducted over 8 weeks with more than 1,600 adults over the age of 65 found that people who consistently did light movement in the morning had an average blood pressure reading that was 11 points lower than the group that did not move in the morning. And lower blood pressure means your heart is doing less work, your blood vessels are taking less damage, and your risk of stroke or heart attack drops significantly. All from just 10 minutes of gentle walking or stretching first thing in the morning. Part 5. Habit number 4. Eat breakfast the right way at the right time. Now we come to habit number 4. And this is the area where I see more people making mistakes than anywhere else. That is breakfast. Not whether you eat it or not, but what you eat and when you eat it. Let me start with the when. A lot of us have gotten into the habit of waking up, grabbing coffee immediately, and either skipping breakfast entirely or pushing it all the way to 11 in the morning. And recent science suggests this may be a bigger problem than you think. When you wake up, your body has already been fasting for 7 to 8 hours. Your blood sugar is sitting at a low level and your body is waiting for fuel to get going. If you keep delaying that fuel, your body starts releasing cortisol, the stress hormone, to pull energy out of stored reserves. That sounds useful, but cortisol running high for a prolonged stretch in the morning actually causes inflammation in the body and drives your blood pressure up. So the best window for breakfast is somewhere within 1 to 2 hours of waking up. Now for what to eat, and this is really the most important part. The ideal breakfast for people at our stage of life comes down to three things. Number one is protein. Number two is fiber. And number three is healthy fat. Protein helps maintain and protect your muscles, which I just talked about in the previous section. Fiber helps keep your blood sugar stable and feeds the good bacteria living in your gut. And healthy fat gives your brain and heart a steady, lasting source of energy. A simple breakfast that checks all three of those boxes could be 2 eggs, either boiled or scrambled, with a slice of whole grain toast and a small handful of almonds or walnuts, or a bowl of oatmeal with some fresh blueberries and a spoonful of natural peanut butter, or a cup of Greek yogurt with some fresh fruit and a small handful of chia seeds. None of those are complicated. None of them take more than a few minutes, and all of them give your body exactly what it needs at the start of the day. What I want you to steer clear of in the morning is anything loaded with sugar and refined carbohydrates. White bread, pastries, sugary breakfast cereals, bottled fruit juices. Those things will spike your blood sugar very fast and then send it crashing back down, leaving you feeling tired and hungry again within an hour or two. And that constant cycle of blood sugar spikes and drops day after day for months and years is one of the primary drivers of diabetes and heart disease. Part 6, habit number 5, control your phone and news in the morning. Habit number 5 is one I know a lot of you will be surprised to hear me bring up. It has to do with your phone and the news in the morning. And I specifically want to address this because it affects your health in a way that most people never see coming. Let me ask you honestly, when you wake up in the morning, what is the very first thing you do? If the answer is reach for your phone to check messages, scroll social media, or read the news, then you are doing something that the research suggests is more harmful to your health than you might expect. Here is why. When you first wake up, your brain is operating in a slow, receptive state, sometimes called alpha state. In that state, your brain is highly open and easily influenced by incoming information. If the first thing you take in is negative news, arguments online, or anxiety-inducing notifications, your brain immediately triggers a stress response. Cortisol starts getting released. Your heart rate picks up, your body shifts into high alert mode, and you begin the day feeling tense and unsettled without even knowing why. A study from the Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health, conducted over 12 weeks, found that people who avoided using their phones in the first 30 minutes after waking had morning cortisol levels that were 22% lower than people who checked their phones the moment they opened their eyes. And lower morning cortisol is directly tied to more stable blood pressure, a better mood throughout the day, and reduced chronic inflammation in the body. All of which are factors that directly affect how long you live. So I am not telling you to throw away your phone or stop watching the news altogether. What I am suggesting is very simple. Give yourself the first 30 minutes after waking up without your phone. Use those 30 minutes to drink your water, step outside for some sunlight, do your light movement, and eat a solid breakfast, just like we talked about. After that, you can pick up your phone and get on with everything else as normal. Just 30 minutes, but the difference it makes in how you feel and your long-term health is genuinely significant. Part 7, why the combination is what really matters. Now you have heard all 5 habits. Drink water when you wake up, get outside for morning sunlight, light movement for 10 minutes, eat the right breakfast, and put the phone down for the first 30 minutes. And maybe you are thinking, Saul, none of this is brand new information. And you might be right. Each one on its own does not sound revolutionary. But what I want to drive home for you is that this is not about any single habit in isolation. What creates the real difference is the combination of all of them together. Every morning, think about it this way. If you only water a flower but never give it sunlight, it will not thrive. If you only give it sunlight but the soil is poor, it still will not grow. But when you combine the water, the light, the good soil, and the consistent care, that plant is going to bloom. Your body works the exact same way. Each habit is one piece of the puzzle, and when all the pieces get placed in the right spots every morning, they build a strong health foundation that compounds day by day, month by month, year by year. A study published by the Stanford University Medical Center followed 2,400 adults over the age of 60 for 9 months and found that people who consistently maintained at least 4 out of the 5 morning habits I just described had a 31% lower risk of heart disease, a 27% lower risk of diabetes, and significantly higher scores on cognitive function tests compared to the group that did not have those habits. Those numbers are not trivial. That is the difference between being able to walk on your own, take care of yourself, and genuinely enjoy life in the years ahead versus dealing with chronic illness that chips away at your quality of life one day at a time. Part 8. How to actually stick with these habits. All right, so now you understand why these habits matter. But I know that understanding something and actually doing it are two very different things. I have seen a lot of patients over 30 years of practicing medicine, and the problem is never a lack of information. Most people already know that drinking water is good, that moving your body is good, that eating well is good. The challenge is how to actually get started and keep going. So let me share a few practical things I have seen work for a lot of people. The first is do not try to change everything at once. Instead, start with just one habit. The easiest one in everything I share today is to set a glass of water on your nightstand tonight and drink it the moment you wake up tomorrow morning. That is all you need to do in the first week. Just that one thing. Once it becomes second nature, add habit number 2. And then keep building from there. The second thing is to design your environment so that doing the right thing is easier than doing the wrong thing. For example, if you want to get outside for morning sunlight, leave your shoes or sandals right by the bedroom door so the moment you wake up, you see them and remember what you need to do. If you want to break the habit of grabbing your phone the second you open your eyes, move the phone farther from the bed. Maybe leave it on a table in another room before you go to sleep. Those kinds of small environmental changes seem minor, but they have an enormous impact on your actual behavior day to day. The third thing, and this is what I consider the most important of all, is to forgive yourself when you miss a day. Because you will. There will be mornings when you forget to drink your water. There will be days when it is raining and you cannot get outside. There will be mornings when you are exhausted and breakfast is just a cup of coffee, and that is completely fine. What matters is not whether you get it perfect 100% of the time. What matters is that you do not give up entirely. Missing one day is not a problem. Even missing 2 days in a row is not the end of the world. The only real problem comes when you quit altogether. So if you miss a day, simply start fresh the next morning without any guilt or self-criticism. Part 9. Some additional advice for specific situations. Now, I want to take a moment to speak to a few specific situations I know some of you are dealing with. If you are living with joint pain or back pain, the light morning movement might feel like the hardest part, and I understand that. But let me share something that sounds counterintuitive, but that many doctors have confirmed. Complete rest when you have joint pain actually tends to make the condition worse, not better. Your joints need movement to keep the joint fluid circulating, and that fluid is what lubricates your joints and keeps them moving smoothly. When you stay still for too long, that fluid stagnates, and the joints become stiffer and more painful. So even when you are hurting, start with the smallest movements possible. Just sitting up in bed and gently rotating your wrists, your ankles, and your fingers. Something that simple is already better than nothing. If you take medication in the morning, check with your doctor about taking it with that first glass of water. For most medications, that is completely fine, and it gives you a natural anchor to build your morning water habit around because you already have an action tied to it. If you prefer not to go outside due to the weather or health limitation, a good alternative is to sit next to a large window and let the natural light from outside come to you. Light through glass is still significantly better for your body clock than indoor artificial lighting, even though it is not quite as ideal as being outdoors directly. If you are not used to eating breakfast and you do not feel hungry in the morning, that is actually quite common as we get older because appetite tends to decrease with age. But instead of skipping it completely, start with something very small and easy. A small handful of cashews or a banana is enough to give your body a little energy and protein to begin the day. Over time, as your body adjusts to the new rhythm, your morning appetite will naturally start to return. Part 10. the power of consistency, and how it connects to 10 extra years. Now, I want to come back to the question I raised at the very beginning of this video. How can these small habits actually add up to 10 extra years of your life? Here is the most honest answer I can give you. No single habit I shared today is going to magically make you feel 40 years old again overnight. No study claims that drinking a glass of water in the morning gives you 10 extra years on its own. That is not what I am saying. What the science actually shows is this. The vast majority of years that people lose off their lives are not lost because of old age itself. They are lost because of chronic disease, heart disease, diabetes, high blood pressure, dementia, and those diseases do not just appear out of nowhere. They are built up slowly, day by day, month by month, year by year, through the small habits we do or do not have in our daily lives. When you reduce chronic inflammation in your body by staying hydrated and eating a proper breakfast, you are slowing down the daily damage being done to your heart and blood vessels. When you stabilize your body clock through morning light and better sleep, you are helping your immune system do its job more effectively in identifying and clearing out abnormal cells. When you move your body gently every morning, you are preserving your muscle mass and your balance to prevent falls and injuries. And when you do not start the day with the stress of news and social media, you are protecting your cardiovascular system from the slow, accumulated damage of stress hormones. All of those things, maintained consistently over months and years, significantly reduce your risk of developing those chronic diseases. And that means you are not just living longer, you are living healthier. That is the difference between 10 extra years on paper and 10 extra years of real vitality, independence, and meaning. The small morning habits we talked about today, drinking water, getting sunlight, light movement, eating a proper breakfast, and putting the phone down for those first 30 minutes are not some complicated secret or an extreme lifestyle overhaul. They are things your body has needed every single day, and you can start tomorrow morning. Do not wait until your doctor tells you something has to change. Do not wait until your body starts sending you signals you cannot ignore. Start today, because every morning is a fresh opportunity to take care of yourself and the people who love you. If this video has been helpful to you, please share it with someone you care about, because these habits matter for everyone, especially those stepping into the best years of their lives. Hit like so this video reaches more people who need to hear it, and do not forget to subscribe so we can meet again in the next one. I am Saul, and I will see you in the next video.